I swear it only starts to rain in Southern California when I'm outside working on a project. What's up, guys? This week I'm going to be tackling the front walkway, which has been an eyesore and a hazard since the day we moved in. It's got loose bricks and some sunken spots all over, and it's just genuinely a little bit dangerous. People can roll their ankle, and at night it's a little treacherous. So I'm going to be replacing it with a paver walkway, and I actually got a pretty great hookup on some pavers through a friend of mine, and we drove out and picked up a couple truckloads of them, and we've stacked them in piles all down the walkway so that I can install them later. Before I can do anything with the new pavers, I've got to get all the old bricks out, and there are a ton of them. This walkway is about 3 feet wide and 72 feet long, so there's a lot of bricks to move, and I've got to pull them up one by one and move them somewhere. For now, I'm just going to pull them and stack them in the back on a pallet until I figure out exactly what I'm going to do with them. I think I know what's happened and why the walkway has kind of gotten to the state that it is. Beneath all of these bricks is about 5 inches of sand, which is way more sand than I would have expected. And there's about a 1-inch gap between all these bricks, so it's allowed for a ton of movement of these bricks over time. So unfortunately what that means is I've got to get all this sand out before I can move on to the next steps. It's going to be a lot of shoveling, and it's going to suck. And of course, as I'm shoveling the sand out, it has started to rain. Never rains in Southern California, but anytime you're trying to do a project, somehow it starts raining. It could be a lot worse. I could not be able to do this at all if I was in other parts of the country where it's snowing right now. So, you know, some minor inconvenience, but it's not a big deal. We'll make it work. We'll get through it. The rain has died off for now, which gives me a little bit of time to bust out the landscape timbers on the one side before dark. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I laid out a test pattern with the pavers, and if I widen the walkway about 2 inches, it'll save me from having to make a ton of cuts down the road. It's a little bit of work on the front end, but it's going to save me a lot of waste and a lot of time cutting on the back end. Unfortunately, it rained like hell last night and rained most of this morning. So everything is really soaked. Luckily, I was able to get a lot of work done yesterday. So the plan of attack today, if the weather holds, is to continue getting all the rest of the dirt off of the one side because the new walkway is going to be about 2 inches wider than the previous. I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on a couple sprinkler heads that are too close. I'm going to have to probably push them out a little bit, cut them off, and kind of extend them out into the garden area a little bit farther so that I can put the landscape edging back in. And to do that, I'm going to stretch a line at the new width and then measure and level the edging at its new position all the way down. Now before I dump some dirt in here, I'm locking everything together with some lag screws, and I'm drilling holes and driving some rebar in to keep the timbers in place. The awesome people over at Evolution Power Tools sent me their Rage 2 chop saw to test out, and it cuts through this 1/2-inch rebar like a hot knife through butter. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Evolution Power Tools for sending this saw over, and I can't wait to use it in future projects. Assuming the weather holds, I'm going to try to get some dirt in here and try to bring this up to the grade that I need it. Fortunately, I've got a big pile of dirt in the back, but the unfortunate part is it's way down the hill. There's no way I'm going to be lugging wheelbarrows back and forth up the hill. So I'm going to call in the big guns today, asking a friend of mine if I can borrow his tractor, see if I can get this thing done. They're calling for really heavy rain this afternoon, so we'll see how long I can work. I'm just going to try and rush and try and get everything done and see how far we get. And pretty much right on cue, the rain started to fall pretty hard again, so I'm just going to do my best to work around it and get the dirt spread. The pavers themselves are just over 2 inches tall, and I'm going to have about 1 inch of sand beneath them, so I need to build the soil up a little bit. Now I was planning to add a compacted gravel base, but I spoke to the guy who I got the pavers from, who does this type of work for a living, and he told me that I didn't really need to do that in my case. I can just compact the dirt that I have because of the type of soil that we have, and because we don't get a ton of moisture typically, and we don't have to deal with the freezing and thawing. So I rented a plate compactor from Home Depot, but unfortunately, it rained like hell again, and because of all the rain, when I tried to compact it, it just turned to mush. So now I've rented a rototiller to till it up and try and help it dry out faster so that I can get this project done quicker. I've had to till it up a bunch of times and wait a few days for it to dry out enough so that I can compact it, but I'm finally able to compact it the way that I want to, and it's compacting really well. I even let it run for itself for a little while. So now the ground is nice and firm, and I'm finally ready to get the sand down and start laying the pavers. I've created a little screed rod for myself out of a scrap piece of 2x4 so that it gives me a consistent level all the way down, and my buddy Jordan has come back over to give me a hand, so he's gonna lay the pavers while I continue to screed the sand the rest of the way down. The sun's about to set, but I'm not gonna give up on this project tonight when we're so close to the finish line. I'm just gonna keep pushing through in the dark. I wanna get these pavers laid, get the paver sand in place, get all our cuts complete, and finish this project up tonight. Well guys, here it is, the finished paver walkway. I couldn't be more happy with the way that it turned out. It was a lot of work. Having to deal with the weather and stuff made this project a little bit more challenging. I've pruned up the roses a little bit as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this thing looks like when they bloom again in the spring. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, please hit that like button and leave a comment down below and let me know. Also be sure to follow me on social media via the links in the description below. And if you want to check out more of my home improvement videos, be sure to click the links right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.